And welcome back to Survivor Hot Takes, season 44. Uh, Coach Drew, Emily, and we're here to talk about episode 6. Episode 6,
Ish. Yeah.
Survivor 42, the Mergatory episode, which a lot more people are starting to call it that online. So I think that might be the official name at this point.
I think we're coining it, like
Yeah.
Survivor fans have made it and now it's a reality.
Yeah, it's just Mergatory. And I think that they got rid of all the pomp and circumstance. It's just like, hey, win this, and that's it.
Yeah.
And of course, the person who has already been clocked, outed himself as I do these things at home, immediately does the check. Yeah, immediately finishes the puzzle. There's no
As soon as I saw what tribe he was going to be on and I saw the puzzle, like that's whenever I was like, yeah, once he went to the puzzle, I was like, the game's over,
Yeah. And I'll even say this. So I texted Emily 5 minutes of the episode and I said that Josh is going home. As soon as I saw Josh on the other side, I was like, oh yeah, well then that's absolutely what's going to happen. There is no suspense at this point.
Right.
But as far as an actual episode, I thought it was fine. I thought that because I felt like a lot of people figured out Josh was going, it kind of took some of the suspense away. But I don't think that it took away from the episode because we still got a lot of fun character moments, specifically with one person, which we'll touch on. So how do you think about the episode?
I thought it was good. I was the first. I always wish that like these Mergatory episodes were like honestly 2 hours. I feel like that just like because there's so much going on, and like so much to add to a lot of these relationships. I don't know. Like I just felt like I wish it went by very fast. I had to rewatch it because I felt like there was a lot to take in, but it was good. It was exciting too. I was excited to see that Tika wasn't going to be the target tribe.
Yeah. If we were to rank Mergatory episodes, I don't know if it wouldn't be last or anything. Like it was fine.
It was fine.
It was
yeah.
Fine episode. I think that the biggest takeaway from this episode is probably something, and I feel like being online and seeing how people are talking, the biggest takeaway from this episode is something that happened after the episode and the preview for next week, where it looks like we're going to get more new era bullshit.
I'm excited
about that. I mean, for all we know, Jeff, they just took that one statement out of context and it's actually something else. But if it is taken into, like, if it is in context and it is, hey, like, you'll have no control over who goes home, it's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, though, because, like, Survivor prides itself on being, like, the ultimate social experiment, and the players have control of the game, like, so I think that...
Do or Die, but, like, Do or Die had nothing to do with social aspects.
I feel like it's going to be like a sacrifice your vote to get something sort of thing, and then you have no control in who would go home. You know what I mean? Like, you would have no vote. I feel like that, to me, makes more sense than just being like, we're gonna like do or die or what, like I don't think it's gonna be like that.
It's scary. It's a scary concept. Like I obviously I hope that you are right.
I think I'm right. I'm gonna say I'm right.
Okay. But I can't deal with, and I've been the biggest supporter of this new age thing, like through all the backlash that it's gotten. Yeah, I haven't liked everything that they've done, but like at this point, I'm at my breaking point.
Right.
If they decide to continue to just add things.
Right.
Because I mean, right now we are at final 11.
I think so. Yeah, because we haven't gotten to the jury starts next week, so it would have to be 11.
So we're at final 11, and there's still so many advantages and fake advantages out there. Like at a certain point, you just kind of have to let the people play.
And that's the first time that like we've actually heard that this season. Brandon bringing it up to the jury, making it very aware, or not just the jury, to the entire like cast. Like, hey, maybe they have idols, maybe they're real, maybe they're fake. We don't know, And like, so I don't know if they know how big this scope is going to be just yet,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to leave room for it. Final 6 is the last time they can use idols, right?
I believe so.
like that's going to be a crazy episode because I just think that there so many people still have chosen not to play it, you know?
Well, we could get a advantage Geddon type situation,
Yeah.
or a Final Five situation from Edge of Extinction where like everyone thinks that everyone plays either a fake idol or a real idol, and it's like who cares? Just
Yeah.
get to this stuff. Well, like I've never been one of these people that it's like, oh yeah, they have to do a back to basics season.
Yeah.
But at this point, they should at least do a back to one idol season. You don't have to go all the way back to season one, but you can go back to season.
Yeah. I see nothing wrong with like a couple like sprinkled in, but it not all at the same time, you know?
Yeah. The show's about idols now. It's like the show isn't about
like the social game. Yeah. Right. It's not as much about that. It's not about like the social aspect, it's about what you have, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see how it's going to continue to play out. There's only one advantage in right now with Lauren. And everyone knows about it. Like that was my other thing I was going to complain to you about. I made a mental note and then I forgot. So I'm glad that I brought this up. Why is everyone still freaking telling everyone what they have? Why are they doing that? You know, like you learn every single time, and it's not about the building of the trust anymore. It's literally about putting another like target on your back, you know?
Marianne just showed like, hey, if you just shut up for like,
and they just saw that. They just saw that season and how it panned out, right? So yeah, it annoys me.
And they're not listening to the people who actually know what's going, or at least know most of what's going on, and that's talking about everyone's favorite or not favorite. There's still people that don't like her, which is strange at this point. Carolyn, how do you think Carolyn did this episode?
Oh my god, my heart's breaking for her because I think that everyone who watched that has felt like they were in Carolyn's shoes at some point, like just feeling very vulnerable and like not in a place where, you know, you're socially acclimating. And I felt, you know, so to me, it's just like, it really broke my heart because everything she's saying has value, but people, because of like the surface level attributes, like people are actively choosing not to listen to it as critically, you know? So I still like my most beloved character this season. I love her now. She's number one in my heart. She sold me this last episode and every other one. So
yeah, and the funny thing is, we were talking about this before we went live. We already know the perception of at least a few people is, oh, she's a goat, like it's this, that, and the other. And it's like, if Carolyn's sitting there at the end, she could really just pull a Sandra and just be like, hey, I tried to tell you all this. Y'all didn't listen to me. I knew what was going on. I didn't get dragged. Y'all just didn't want to listen. And I just so happened to end up here. And I think that could potentially help her out. But yeah, as of right now, it's just, I feel like people are relating to her because everyone has been in that situation in life, in games or whatever. It's like, I know what I'm talking about and no one wants to listen to me. So I think it's a fun little quasi underdog type thing.
I agree.
That's why that's why people are zoning in on her as someone to support.
I agree. You know who else is getting like an underdog edit? I talked to you about this like before we went live. I think that Jamie is actually getting a pretty decent edit. I didn't realize that she would be like this exposed like this entire season, and she keeps saying the same things. I'm kind of noticing like a similar editing pattern between like her and Gabler, you know, like he always did like the Ala Gabler hiding in plain sight, blah blah blah, and Jamie's like, my word is my wand, and bam, I'm gonna win this, and bam, I'm gonna, but like she keeps reverting back to that, and it's making me think that she has a pretty solid edit and chance to make it as long as she becomes more aware about her fake idol.
But didn't your boy say on his podcast that there's no such thing as a winner's edit?
There is, and you and I both know that. I will disagree, you know?
Yeah, I would say that right now, if you're a casual, there's probably, I feel like most people think that it's going to be someone like Franny, someone like old boy from the firefighter.
Oh, Danny. You never remember his name.
Yeah, old boy, the firefighter, Danny. I feel like those are the types of people that the casual fans would think are winning right now. The problem is most of the time that's not the case.
Right.
And so I think that right now we're at this place where there are a lot of different people that could potentially. No one's being portrayed as an out and out fool.
Yeah.
And I mean, Carolyn gets the full music, but like what she's saying is not wrong and it's not foolish, and everything that she's doing, it's almost like a misdirect where we're gonna play this music with this person, but in reality, like if you listen to what she's saying,
Right. And they did that with Gabler a few times too, you know, like the way that like I'm gonna continue to pull from his edit because his edit shocked me whenever he won, you know?
yeah,
But like I I just lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? Like
Jamie.
Gabler, you know, like whenever he wasn't picking up on like someone had something and they were trying to warn him. I think it was like Jesse or Cody like warning Gabler that someone had something. And he was like, wait, they did what? What? You know, and like they had like that goofball music at the like intertwined with that too. So like I feel like I'm not going to rule it out. I'm actually thinking that she might make it really far or she might win. You know,
Okay,
it would be
I
great.
mean,
That's a really hot take, and she wouldn't be my first choice to win at this point. But the way that she's being shown and the way that she's being exposed right now is making me think that she's going to have a very big impact on this season.
well, stay tuned to next week when she gets voted. Obviously, the other big thing going on in the episode is the continuing showmance between Franny and Matthew.
How do you feel about that, Andrew?
I'm not a jealous person. I am a jealous person. I will say that. I am a jealous person. And you know, they're holding hands and they're being super cute. Um and at this point, obviously we feel like someone's gonna eventually try to break them up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my money is on Matt, not Franny, because Franny's my winner pick and she's my crush. Where do you think this ends? Where do you think
It has to end soon. Like the rule of Survivor is always don't get into a relationship. Like don't do it, and to not be like romantically involved with anyone because you will always it will always be broken up. Like we've seen that time and time again. It has never made it past season 8, you know? And so I don't know. Like I think that if I had to pick between one of them going home, Heidi and Lauren are going to try their best to be able to keep one more woman, you know, so Franny, and we'll throw Jamie in there too. I guess like I don't think that it phases her as much, but I can see there's a budding friendship between Lauren and Heidi. Um, I and Matt has a lot more targets on his back. Like the only like you know he is like the idol that everyone thinks is you know maybe they think it's real, maybe they think it's fake. I don't know. And he's just a lot more socially oblivious, you know, compared to Franny. I think that the one thing that Franny may have is that like she's a strategic person, you know, and she is really good at managing like social conversations. So if they wanted to wipe one of them who had a higher chance of making it further and getting like the votes, then it would be Franny, you know?
yeah. I if I were to remove all bias from the situation, I still think that Franny would probably be the one that stays.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. You know, I think that not this upcoming episode, but next week's, or well, 2 episodes from now will be the 5-5, the dual tribal.
Right.
Maybe we'll see.
You think so? I think so too.
And if that's the case, it'd be very interesting if the 2 of them end up on the same group as compared to if they end up on different groups, how people might go about that.
Right.
I feel like if they were on the same group, people might try to target them. If they're on different groups, people might still leave it alone. And that's if both of them survive next week's episode.
Right. I don't know. I don't know. I think that I think that Lauren is the one who even brought it up. You know that they're gonna that group can't make it any further. I think that it's gonna be between one of them before they even make it to the 10. You know.
I don't know why Lauren's being purpled.
I don't know either, and it's
Probably
really
doesn't-
bothering me. Can we
probably
talk
doesn't
about?
go- Well, she's doing the exact same thing that Heather did during her season, where it's like, guess how, or like on her social media, it's like, oh, guess how many confessionals I'll get tonight, or will Lauren get a confessional tonight? So like Heather was doing the same stuff on season 41,
Mhm.
and Heather made it to the
Four.
last episode.
Yes.
So I think I mean we've touched on it many times. They don't know how to edit women, but
And it's always the woman. Like it was Lindsay.
it's almost never like Troyzan is like one of the only people I can think about that like made it far enough, and we like never
They brought
saw
him to Game Changers. Like, aw.
it. Yeah, it's like Troyzan. I don't remember anything Troyzan did in Game Changers except for being at the end of the game.
I know. I was so shocked that he came back for that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to think of like anything else like crazy that we have to talk about. Like, I feel like it was pretty.
Why do you think that we're being set up for the? If we're just touching on that question, do you think that we're being set up for a Lauren like ascendance arc?
I hope so because she's one of my power players. And I love her. But I don't know, like I don't think that we've seen enough of her yet. So because of that, I think that we're gonna see a lot more during merge. Like the reality is that her tribe did so well that they didn't really have to focus on a lot of the dynamics prior to merge. But I'm hoping that we're gonna see a lot more because it's gonna be a lot more fast paced, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
mean,
That's what I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I honestly think that is what I think that they just kind of chilled on her for a while to let these other storylines play out,
Sure.
and that soon either she's going to go home like immediately, or she could be a power player like you predicted later in the game.
Right.
Because there's a lot of game left. You know, there's time for power players to establish themselves. It's similar to Lindsay in 42. Like we were getting Lindsay content, but we weren't getting Lindsay content until like halfway through the merge. And all of a sudden, Lindsay has all these fans because Lindsay's like, wow, I think Lindsay could win this. I think Lindsay could win this. But she didn't on camera. Lindsay as the character wasn't really shown until
and she wasn't as constant either. Like that was the other thing. Like
it was the Jonathan Mike Turner show.
Yes, exactly. Hey, we get to see them both next week.
We'll talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I get to see them next week.
We'll talk. But besides that, you know, like I said, it was a pretty episode. Like we knew what was happening. And sometimes votes are like, sometimes the audience just knows.
Yeah.
You can't hide anything. There's nothing to hide. Everyone kind of knows what's going to happen.
So can I ask you, do you think that Josh was the right pick?
Why do you ask? Like, are you in a camp? Are you in one of the camps or?
Well, no. Like I'm just like I'm kind of going back and forth with it because everyone knew that Josh was on the bottom, except for Josh apparently. You know, like, and typically I feel like whenever like something like that happens, anyone who was originally on the bottom is now on the top. Like once we get to the merge, you know. And I feel like we didn't like. I feel like it could have opened an opportunity for someone to bring Josh on with them. But I also understand why he was voted out. You know, I don't know. I kind of want your opinion on that.
Well, and I know I keep going back to this person, but like one of my favorite moments of the episode was Carolyn talking about how they caught Josh in the lie about the idol.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I know it's through magic of Survivor editing. I think Matt goes, okay, but what if he played the fake idol before? But like this is the and I was like, why?
Jeff would have told you. Jeff would have told you.
Why is this happening?
Oh my God.
And I found that hilarious because like these people, it's one of those things where it's like it's a gag in like any comedy movie ever. Someone will say something, and everyone's like, "That's a stupid idea," and then the same person or a different person will say the exact same idea, and everyone's like, "That's great. It's a great idea." So I feel like with Carolyn throwing Josh under the bus there, kind of, I don't know specifically who she wanted at that point, but it's no one's going to give Carolyn credit for this.
Yeah, no, I agree. But if she makes it to the end, she could discuss how, like she already called it and she was more aware than everyone else was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wish that they would, and I wish I'm nervous for her moving forward because I think that she's gonna find her way in, but it's gonna be a long and strenuous process,
So you're not nervous for her as far as potentially going home. You're nervous for her as far as how she's being perceived because, like,
how she's being perceived and how she's going to get there. Like, I think that she's going to be okay, but I'm nervous to see how that's going to evolve,
it doesn't seem like she's in anyone's plans. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I mean, we have the Stooges, but
That's like it. Yeah. And now Carson's not on Brandon's good side because Carson told Kane that his name was being thrown out.
Kane's another person I just keep forgetting is there.
I know, right? You know
I
what
know
else?
he's like a huge nerd, and that's like
Yeah.
all I remember about Kane.
Do you think that I feel like I could talk about like all these different dynamics and possibilities forever, but like Carson has never had a bigger target on his back, I feel. Like for so
Right.
many reasons. Like
Carson's not going to last long. Like, especially
he's oversharing. Yeah, he's oversharing. He overprepared, which isn't a bad thing until people are recognizing that you're really good and you still have enough numbers to be able to boot your ass out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because if this guy practiced puzzles, it also means he probably practiced fire. So why would you let him get far enough that he has to do fire?
He won't. I don't think he's gonna make it to fire. But like it's crazy.
I mean, he could go with the potential 5-5 episode.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that would be a great time to do a double elim and him being one of the targets.
What are his advantages, non-advantages?
None. He has nothing. He had an idol, but it had expired whenever they merged. So he has nothing else. Yeah. I mean, to our knowledge, and there's going to be a big shock, and then he has another advantage.
It's going to be the Nasir thing from 41, where it's like, oh man, he actually set the thingy, and then there's a flashback where he got
right.
the thingy. No, but overall, I am hesitant. I'm hesitant to be excited for next Wednesday's episode. Like we talked about at the beginning of this, the way that it was teased in the preview, we could get another bullshit twist added to it, but I'm hoping that you are right, and it's just like the way they just took whatever Jeff said out of context. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how it continues to evolve.
Yeah. But final thoughts. It was a fine episode. It was fine. Whatever.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Okay. I'm not against it. And I'm happy.
It didn't suck.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got to experience it. I thought it was a moment, and I'm excited to see how it sets up the future. Yeah, whenever there's not.
Yeah, I would love to look back. I would love to look back on this episode. Oh, I hope not.
Are they going to bring back another birdcage idol?
I hope not.
Oh my god, we don't need any more. We don't need any more.
I hope not. Just let's leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It was a fun episode when the birdcage idols were like.
I liked it. Yeah,
that was a fun episode, but like.
Yeah, I'm done with it now.
I don't need it anymore.
I thought it was a cute twist. It was a cute time. Yes. Yeah.
A cute time for one episode.
Yeah, but then like it kind of got old. I was a little bored.
But we will be back on regular schedule next week. We have to film this today because Easter is Sunday. So everyone have a great holiday, whatever you celebrate. And we'll see you on the other side. Oh, that was a weird ending.
You did a great job.